Hi everyone, welcome to the Bruce Cizal Research Channel. Greatly appreciated. Why would a UFO have lights on the sides of it as compared to just on the bottom of it? Why would it, camouflage? Is it because it's their thrusters? Is it for stabilization? You wonder all these things, and I go run through all these details as I look and examine them. Look here, the difference of the size. I even brought the image smaller on the right there, which is the big close-up UFO, which was a full screen for me, which I've never caught anything close enough to be full screen. You can see the satellites over top as an example for comparison in size. Now, ufology associations and the Pentagon itself, they look at certain traits when they're looking to see if UFO sightings are actually real UFO sightings. There's 4 of them in particularly, and we'll look at some of the ones I've captured myself. So anti-gravity lift. Unlike any known aircraft, these objects have been sighted overcoming the Earth's gravity, obviously, with no visible means of propulsion. We have sudden and instantaneous acceleration. Look at that, flying across the moon, which is just absolutely incredible. The objects may accelerate or change directions so quickly that no human pilot could survive the G-forces. They would be crushed. So there's a second trait. A third trait, hypersonic velocities without signatures. If an aircraft travels faster than the speed of sound, it typically leaves signatures, and we'll look at that. Things like vapor trails that you see here and sonic booms. The fourth, low observability or cloaking. Well, now we're talking about a whole bunch of technologies with lights, even when objects are observed, getting a clear and detailed view of them, either through pilot sightings, radars, or any other means, like infrared that I use, remains always difficult. Witnesses generally only see the glow or haze around them. So what I'm capturing is what the Pentagon and all ufology associations have studied and are telling the people too. What they have not told the people are about these sightings on a certain planet or moon. We talk about, even the Pentagon, we saw a UFO in the sky over Earth. They look like, mechanical objects. These do not. And not just that, it gets even more interesting, even more surprising. As we see them lifting off the surface, look at the other lights, and I can't mention it enough. This is the bombshell, literally. They're lifting off the surface. Look at them, all over the moon, one after the other, coming out of slits in the ground. So say to yourself, if that's not a missile trying to go reach the other UFOs that just went by and there's not a war going on, well, let me tell you that this mother, it just came out of the center of the moon, went and joined up a UFO fleet that was moving at thousands of kilometers per hour. Can you imagine that? Just to give you an idea of what a secret is and exactly what's on the moon. These are let's tone it down a little bit, so I can keep this video up. So, colors, right? These are the real colors that are on the moon. They're with my telescope. It's not nothing fake that I added here. I'll have some reds and greens. No, I've done it before, and I've told you all. Look at the high ridge at the back just by converting the image, which is absolutely incredible. An image conversion just quite simply changes the shades and colors of the objects on the surface, thus helping us to really see what's up there. Check it out. Greenery on the surface. Again, no filter, a simple magnification. You don't want to get too close so you don't see any bars and lines in it, which there could be some in the bottom. Look, sinus iridum with all the greenery around it. And that is where I showed you at the end of the promontorium all those structures that looked like, yes, concentration camps. Definitely industrial structures, right? Well, it was built, let's just say. We know that. And look, they're also in the same direction. So just that's telling us it's an intelligent race. What are the massive lines? If we're seeing them, they're very high off the surface. That's the interesting part. So here, as the moon is gently moving by and the telescope picks it up, I slow it down and I see a light, but it's actually a UFO. And I'm also going to show you one with the same colors. Yep, exciting. Taking off from the surface. We'd only have those ghost-like UFOs. Since we're talking about UFO traits, hey, it's what the Pentagon does, it's what UFO associations do, MUFON, all the ones that are supposedly looking for truth. I think more or less some of them are hiding it. Not going to name any names here, but I'm not hiding anything. I'm sure as hell trying to show everything that I'm capturing. So look at these incredible, magnificent lights. Look close up. Here's a still. We'll also see it live. That's, a UFO shape, aerial phenomena. But here's the thing. I'm not just showing UFO videos over Earth's sky. This is on the surface of the moon. I had to magnify them. Is there any distortion? Well, who knows? Probably. But we're still seeing first signs of whatever's up there. Look, if you can see a shape like that, it's because we're seeing an actual shape and form. And on the left, by the way, this is the same UFO traveling across the moon here. Right, left, and right. Watch what happens. Boom, boom. If not, I found a simultaneous mechanism on the moon. There's no two ways about it. I'm showing the proof. One UFO leaves, the other one takes off too. Imagine that at a distance of maybe 50 kilometers at least between each other, simultaneously lights taking off on the surface, and at the same time, without it ever stopping, other lights are appearing under the hazes. Now look at it. That one I'm showing you the picture on the left, and now here it is on the right. Stationary, lights going on. They're real lights. They're not explosions. I've showed explosions before. It's the real thing. And here's another thing. A real 2-second flash here about these objects that I showed yesterday and many times. That was passed off from, I'm not going to say, from all the associations that it's just, dust and hazes. Come on. It's so that people don't look too much into it and find out what's really out there. Look at this beside Mars. Rectangular light, cube lights over Earth with the infrared camera right here. And this is not on a period of 20 years. I'm working on my 5th year. So after 4.5 years of research, I could already conclude, having captured one of each trait, that, by the way, the U.S. Navy labeled those 4 traits from their own captures. And I'm not making it up, and I'm showing you the exact same things. There's that mysterious haze around the UFO that just hides it. When, videos from people showing structured objects or UFOs with lights and little green men in them, sorry, I don't really believe in that. And UFO photos, very hard to prove anything at all from them. My interest in space is to examine each and every finding. Not because a finding is 6 months old or a year old that I'm going to throw it out. Are you freaking kidding me? Look at this one from 2 years ago. Lights appearing under the hazes. Only gets 2,000 views a video. So that means for me to get 1 million views, I'm going to have to show it 50 times. Who cares? It's my work. I clarified it a lot better than I showed it the first time. Here's a new thing. But yet it's only old stuff Bruce shows. There's lights everywhere. All over the place. Here's a time lapse in infrared. What do you think of that? Not bad, eh? Check it out. As the moon is rising, we see the stars also, which are also rising. You see the clouds low on the horizon, trees on the bottom left. Just a little quickie I wanted to share with you all. I set up many nights for long hours, and I look at all possible lights that go by. No, I don't film bugs or dust or pollen, especially not in the winter. How corny is that, right? Look at this key-like object. It has a shape, not where the arrow is on the right in the circle. It has an object flying over the surface, but yet no interest. Here, people ask me, Bruce, do you have any proof of how the moon changes its shape and form? And no, it doesn't change shapes, doesn't change forms. It rotates over to the right, that you can see here, and look at the line that I put across the 2 mares, and look how much it rotates. It does that even more than this every 30 days during the moon phase. We could see that major change. Here's an object which, at the same time that everyone was talking about 67P, it looks like a pipe. Check it out right underneath the moon. Maybe a giant space sperm under the moon. Hey, we don't know what any of the objects that we are capturing are. I have so much research. Do you know what rainy day footage is called, guys? I hope you all know that it's February here in Canada, and I haven't seen the sky or any celestial object for 13 days. So, yeah, we're going to do the research with the older footage. Come on. I'm having a good fun with you, because the trolls get very upset when I resurface out some amazing findings like this one, chemtrails at night. What do y'all think of that? Those are classics to remember. Check this out. An object in deep space, far out, seen with the telescope. Look what happens when I up the exposure. Isn't that incredible? It was beside the moon, and it looks like sulfur or something coming from it. Maybe volcanoes on it, on this surface. We see 3 different storms or some crazy type of elevation, explosion, who knows. Look at this one. Love it. I always, dream of it being a planet that was cut in half, but notice the light source in the center of this unknown celestial object that was captured right beside the moon. It's incredible. And the size of it, it's just not something that I've captured before. These are very, very rare moments. What do you think of this? Those are tunnels going inside of the ground, folks, on the moon without a filter. Isn't that cool? And Theophilus crater on the bottom. Amazing surfaces.
Party all night long. Aliens on the moon, they must be mighty. They're up there sitting down in that pontoon. They brought everybody up in their belly party. But they coming here so soon. Yeah, aliens are up there on the moon. They may be even coming right here soon. Aliens are mighty on the moon. Yes, they are up there. Doesn't matter, cause disclosure's coming soon. Disclosure's coming soon.